Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to the vlog. So today we're out in Decatur. We're out doing some street photography, but I wanted to bring to you guys 5 things you need to know when starting photography. So let's get into it. Alright guys, so for tip number 1, I believe tip number 1 is probably one that you've heard a lot, and this is where gear doesn't matter. Up until recently, and the camera setup that I'm shooting on, which I'll talk about later, I didn't have an up-to-date camera. And even this camera that I'm filming this video on is a couple years old. It's 2023, this camera came out in 2019. And what I mean to say is that when you're first learning, you don't want to go and get a high-grade camera. There's going to be too many things that you don't know how to use that aren't acceptable to your learning process, and it may end up turning you off from actually learning photography. So know that gear doesn't matter. What you want to look for a camera that has the ability to change lenses. I think that'll be the greatest strength to your learning process. And the megapixel count doesn't matter. I would arguably about this time definitely say go for something that has at least 18 or higher, but you can do well with 16. So don't fret on getting a camera that's maybe 10 years old, because you want to spend a lot more money on your lenses than the camera body. So keep that in mind. Don't go get an expensive setup when you first start. Alright guys, so tip number 2 is definitely absorb as much as possible. Now I know that when you're starting out and you're trying to learn photography, there's a 2-part to this, and one is learn what the different niches are. So you want to learn what the different categories of photography actually are, and then you want to learn as much as possible as you can about that niche. Learn as much as you can absorb. Maybe find photographers in your area that you can meet up with, that you can learn from. Absorb as much as possible from people, your peers, from people who's been shooting longer than you. And the more you're absorbed and the more you're open to learning, the better your photography will be. No matter what niche you're in, I do street and portrait photography, but I love talking to different photographers in different niches because they may have something important to tell me, and I'll be a fool to cut myself off from listening to them just because we're not in the same niche. So always remember to try to absorb as much. Nobody masters art, nobody masters photography. You only master yourself. So you have to be open to learning more, absorb more. Alright guys, so I think the third rule should definitely be, what's your reasoning behind getting into photography? A lot of people want to get into photography for making it a business, being able to escape the rat race, being able to scale up their skill in order to make a living for themselves, for their families. Or some people get in for a hobby or just a supplement income. I believe that knowing why you're doing something definitely helps bring you closer to being a master at something. And when you know why you're doing it, you give more attention to the things that you do, the art that you create, the stories that you tell, and that can definitely help you guys go a long way. Okay guys, so for me, number 4, and I thought really long and hard about this because I want to bring you guys these tips that I feel really will give you guys the best opportunity to make a good impression with your art and with your photography. But number 4 is so important to the process, which is practice. There's no cheat codes, there's no shortcuts, there's no escapes to just being able to get out and practice. Practice as much as possible, as much as your schedule will allow you to practice, because that's the only way really to get better at anything, is to give it that hard-earned try. You have to get out, you have to practice, you have to try new techniques. Try techniques from people who inspire you. Try techniques that you've always wanted to try, ideas that you've always wanted to do, because being able to get out and practice, really will help bring you to the forefront of almost becoming a master. And the more that you practice, the more that you gain confidence in what you're doing, the more that you're gonna be able to tell people confidently what you do as a photographer, and be able to hit the same result every time that you turn your camera on. So that's the most important thing in this whole list, is to get out and practice. Okay guys, and the last and final rule that I have for you guys is to go out and have fun. None of this is possible if you don't get out and enjoy what you're doing, no matter what niche that you choose, no matter what camera that you choose to use. If you can't get out and have fun with what you're doing, you're not gonna do it for very long. So you gotta get out, be able to enjoy making art, be able to enjoy capturing life, and that will bring you to the precipice of something great. So guys, I wanna thank you for tuning in. I pray that these help you on your journey to making bangers. And like always guys, I'll see you in the next one.